Yes. There we are. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you. Good to see you from South Africa once again. My alarm went off, and if you remember the previous live stream, I set 2 alarms on my chart, and one of these alarms went off, and by chance, load shedding just finished when my alarm went off. So I was like, well, I can go live and check the chart with you all. So what's up? How you doing? Captain Gary, Daniel, Raymond there as well, TXM, good to see you around, and everyone joining, of course. And yeah, let's jump in the chart. Wes Meyer also part over here of the crew. Everyone joining. Hey peoples, yo, what's up? Horoscope, Perseo, Hamze, Kolagassi, one of the newer members as well. Thanks for joining, mate. Welcome to the live stream. And yeah, as mentioned, I had 2 alarms, and one of these alarms was at the lower target box. Now, by the way, before I jump into the chart, I'm going to open the stream on my own phone so that I always know what you guys are actually looking at. So by accident, I don't have like the wrong window open and you don't see the chart and stuff. So I only have one screen with me on holiday. And also I can check the chat whenever I'm not having the chat on my screen, because this is live, but the moment I go to the chart, I can't see the chat. So this way, you know, if I have the stream on my phone, I can actually see what you are writing at the same time. So very nice, very nice. Now price is dropping over here, as you can see, very nicely indeed. And I'm actually going to put my sound off on my phone. And what we're going to do in this stream is, of course, look at the local price action and Elliott Waves, some of the confluences, and potentially see what happens here. Are we going to get a bounce, or are we going to get continuation to the downside for lower targets? Now, first things first, right? We expected a new low to be made, matter of time, really, you know. So that was the highest probability scenario through all the different time frames, as mentioned in the previous live stream. And we now got at least a bit of a move down. Now, in the previous live stream, so let's jump into the local stuff, right? We'll do the higher time frame stuff in a bit, but let's first start with the more local price action. So over here, the previous stream that I've done was when, I don't know, price was ranging somewhere over here, right? Somewhere in this area. And we got this move to the downside, which kind of looks like a 3-wave structure. However, this move down over here is very, very long for a wave C, making it more probable it's a wave 3. The only problem we had is if this is a 1, 2, then a 3, 4, 5, and then this is a wave 2 over here. It's, you know, it's quite like a very short wave 2, which I also mentioned in the update section just now. And seeing how price is pushing down, probabilities are, you know, like not great at the moment for a bounce. You definitely want to see a little bit of support coming in this area, of course. But while price was bouncing over here, right, we were looking for like basically like two things. We had the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scenario over here before then a bit of a bounce for a wave 2, maybe going like 26.2k. It was an interesting area of resistance, and then a move to the downside. We never really got a great wave 5, and this wave 4 is very long to a much shorter wave 2. However, if we push to the downside now, there's not really another way to count it. So the more bearish scenario was this being a 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then eventually a 5. But of course, we didn't yet have this price action on the chart. So we were expecting 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a wave 5 down, expecting a wave 2 correction. And then we're expecting a 3 to the downside, right? That was the bearish scenario. The more, let's say, bullish scenario is still on the cards. The problem is now, of course, this volume move to the downside. So the more bullish one is, hey, this is a 3-wave structure to the downside, even though this is a very extended wave C then in an A, B, C structure, right? This C went to the, if I remembered correctly, the 2.618 extension. Let me actually put it on the, oh wait, that's the wrong one. Let me put this on the chart here. So we extended from the high to the low to the high, open the wave 3 stuff. Yeah, the 2.618, which, you know, the 1.618 is already a rare target for a wave C. The 2.618 is even more rare. It's like, I gotta say, like in the, like over the past couple of like weeks, the 1.618 has been tagged a lot, but the 2.618 is very rare for a wave C, increasing the probabilities of this being a wave 3. But the more bullish scenario is that this then is a 3-wave corrective structure, right? And this then is by itself like a W, X, and you expect a Y, and then you get a bigger 3, 3, and then eventually a move to the upside, which is either a 3-wave structure or a 5-wave structure, right? That's the more bullish scenario, which then leads us to, let's see if I actually have this scenario over here, is that leads us to this. So what you then want to see, right? And I know I didn't show this in the previous stream. I've actually made this like the past couple of days when providing updates. So you then have a 3-wave in an A or W, looking for a 3-wave in B or X, and then you'll be looking for a C or Y to the upside, which very much depends, of course, after the stream we did here on the price action that we get locally. And especially where we are right now, is price going to provide us with a bounce over here or not? Well, we're going to talk about the probabilities, but at least what we see more locally here is, by the way, did we hit, oh, we almost hit the daily naked point of control over here at 24,975. So, you know, we're now hanging around the daily, of course. Look at the volume coming in, which also is because of these two lows and this low, right? So a lot of volume being taken at the moment. Nice, nice, nice. So probabilities. Okay. So I actually wrote about this in Discord just now as well. This over here, this move down, right? Looks like a nice 3-wave structure, but this looks wave 3-ish. However, we got a very long wave 4 compared to a much shorter wave 2. And this is something that, you know, I didn't go to the 50-minute time frame and count all this stuff because I'm on holiday. You know, I don't keep as much up to date with the chart. I stick around on a bit like higher time frames. But the fact that we never really got a nice 4 and then a 5 gives like probabilities to, hey, can this be a 3-waver, then a corrective structure and another 3-wave structure? Of course, if that's the case, I want to see proof of support. And that's what I keep saying to everyone, always in the videos or in Discord. Proof of support is necessary, whatever your strategy, your plan is. If you're looking at the support area and you want to see a move to the upside, then what are your entry criteria? What are you looking for? Is that a market structure change? Is that bullish CVD divergences, so a bit of a bounce, a retracement, CVD, maybe RSI divergences? Over here, you make a low, then a bounce, then you make a lower low, and then on RSI, you have a higher low, right? That's the RSI divergence, maybe stochastic, maybe you're looking for candlestick patterns. Whatever it is, right? Maybe you have order flow in front of your chart and you want to see trapped short traders over here and price moving to the upside. Whatever it is, you need to have like some sort of entry criteria, entry requirements, because we don't gamble as traders, right? We have a plan, we have a certain idea of what we want to see. The only thing is, so for me at the moment, I'm like in a bit of a 50-50. Am I 50-50? That's a difficult question. I will look at the chat in a second, guys, because we'll be chatting throughout the stream. But you know, there's a high volume coming in. This is very much like a wave 3 type of, like, it's very extended, which increases probabilities of a wave 3, but this is so long for a wave 4 compared to a very, very short wave 2. Usually wave 4 is longer than a wave 2, but this one is like 6 times longer or something than this small move, which, you know, is not, that doesn't happen too often, if you know what I mean. And then you need to have this as probably a wave 5 to the downside. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. So this is your 5th wave, taking this low. So then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. This is then your correction. So you have then a wave 1, and this is a very, very shallow, right? Very shallow wave 2, and then 1, 2, probably another like 1, 2, 1, 2, bigger 3 to the downside. Let's zoom in, see what happened here. This looks wave C-ish, to be honest. So A, B, C, potentially like an expanding flat then for a wave 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, truncated 5th. That's rare. Truncated 5ths are rare in general. Also, if this would be a wave 5, then you have a 3, 4, 5. Truncated 5th is very, very rare. So I prefer not to look for truncated 5ths. So, yeah, we have high volume, price moving through the triple bottom, through the daily at the moment. Daily naked point of control is kind of really the last support. So as long as we don't see any solid support in this area, you know, probabilities are for continuation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 2 and up. Let's see what the retracement is here, taken from the high to this low over here, and then we toggle on wave 2, 382 retracement, which is a target for a wave 2, less common. And let's zoom out a little bit to give you a bit of a bigger perspective of what we're looking for, right? Because I added some scenarios that I haven't shown on stream yet. So before, and we let price do its thing more locally. Let's wait and see if we can get some sort of a bit of a reaction. 3-minute chart. Let's see what's up here. Nothing yet. We need some more candles. 1 minute. No. Okay, let's wait there. Let's wait. So if we zoom out, then on the daily, I will only show, or at least I will show the higher time frame most probable scenario, which is this. So we're looking for a wave A or 1, then a 3-wave corrective structure for a wave 2 or a wave B. Most common target for 2 between the 05 and 786, which also is a common target for a wave B. Now, if price would go down and bounce, it can both be eventually a wave 2 or B for then a C or 3. We have to observe the price action, right? But the result is the same, and that's what we're looking for. If, however, price is going to take much longer in a big sideways corrective structure, the longer it takes, the more likely it becomes it's a wave B. So that's why this is the purple area and this is the green area. But even if price finishes here and moves up, it, you know, can still be a wave B. But just so you know, 0.5, 23.3K, 0.786, 18.7K, right? Important areas. We have some support areas in that area as well here, around 22.6K and 21.8K, this blue box. And over here below the golden pocket, 20.6K and 20.2K, and then the 786 around 18.9K, right? That's still very, very deep for where we are at the moment. We are at support, so we take it level by level. That's not that interesting. Then over here, this is definitely an interesting scenario that I'm keeping my eye on. And in this particular scenario, we are then looking for 3 waves in an ABC wave 1. So we are basically looking for a wave C to the downside to finish a 3-wave corrective structure. Wave C is a 5-wave move to the downside, right? So we then have a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in this case, it's not a traditional impulsive structure where we're then looking for a 1, 2, big extended 3, 4, 5. But in this scenario, we're looking then for an ending diagonal. So over here, we then have an ABC in wave 1. Wave B retraced to the 0.382, and as mentioned earlier, the 382 is a common target for a wave B, a more rare target for a wave 2, and that's what I just mentioned. But it's a common target for a wave B. So a 382 retracement could be quite interesting for an ABC zigzag in a wave 1, and in an ending diagonal, you want to see zigzags, right? So a zigzag 1, zigzag 2, zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. So all the waves to the downside, as well as then the retracement 2 and 4 to the upside, are zigzags. Can also be a family of the zigzag, but you know, double, triple zigzags, but at least a zigzag 535. Then over here, 535, nice ABC for wave 2 finish. So the invalidation of this scenario is if price would go to the upside above 28.2k. Now for then a wave 3 to the downside, we are then also looking for an ABC three-wave structure, a 5 potentially still in a three-wave move, and then another 5 to the downside, right? That's what we're looking for. This upper trend line is still an estimate, right? I can still move this to the upside. It's not a valid trend line yet because we need wave 4. Why is everything locked, by the way? Let me do that. So this wave 4 has to be finished to actually know exactly where the trend line is going to be, right? But at the moment I just did it like this. So for this wave 4, we of course first need wave 3, and the target area as it stands now, right? If this is over here wave A, this is your B, and if we're now in a wave C to the downside, the most common target for wave 3 is between the 0.786 and the 886 trend-based fib extension from the high to the low to the high over here, which is between 23k and 22.4k. So that is definitely an interesting area. But if price is moving to this area, if it would, right now. Now, one thing I, by the way, have to say, let me actually have a look here. Let me have a quick... Oh wait, the trend-based fib extension, I was already afraid I made a mistake there. Trend-based fib is taken from the high to the low of 1 to the high of wave 2, right? So we're looking for the blue wave 3. So I will do the calculation for a potential ABC in a bit. But for the blue wave 3, sorry, it's from the high to the low of 1 to the high of wave 2. And then you get this area over here. Of course, price can go down and hit this area and we wait and see, or it goes back up and wave 3 will, come later potentially. Now let's have a look then. In this wave 3, right? 5, 3, 5. That's what we're looking for. First 5 can be finished, potentially another move to the upside, or we continue down. Both is fine for wave 3, but this is an area of interest, and we have a support area just below over here, which is that 22k support area. Here you can see the levels, right? 22.6 to 21.8. And the invalidation is if price would move below the 1-to-1, because wave 3 is not allowed to be longer than wave 1 in a contracting ending diagonal, and contracting diagonals are by far most common than the expanding diagonal. So that is what we're looking for, right? So this is definitely a scenario I keep in mind. Now, if we just zoom in shortly, because we are then, and I will come back to the chat in a second. I just want to quickly get this done, right? This is the impulse. Do I have the ABC in the scenario somewhere? No. So let's actually quickly do this. So if we then have this as a wave A to the downside, if this is the high of B, and we toggle on the zigzag target, oops, there we go. Oh, that's very nice, right? So confluence between two Elliott wave targets. If this is a wave A to the downside, a 3-wave in B, if this is the beginning then of a wave C to the downside, the target for a zigzag most commonly is between the 1 and the 1.236, right? Which is in confluence, as you can see, with that 786 for a wave 3. So we then have an A, B, C. Most common target for C is between the 1 and the 1.236, while the most common target for 3 is between the 786 and the 886. And maybe I have to color code this just to make sure that we know exactly what fits what. And let me remove this. Let me remove the brush. There we go. Only keep the common target for now on the chart. Do you think I like the color blue? Holy moly, a lot of blue here, no? Okay, there we go. So this is then the area, right? This is an important area of interest in general. Also because of that additional support, the blue box here. So it's no problem if price goes below the 1.236, because still a target for a wave C zigzag is the 1.618, which as you can see is below the target box, right? So this target box mainly is the area of interest if price moves below this area. I'm personally looking for this area over here. Okay, interesting ending diagonal scenario that I wanted to show you. Let's see what else do we have here, right? This is a impulse. So this is the more impulsive scenario, which, you know, then that would be a very extended scenario. It doesn't really, like in this particular case, we are then looking at this over here. We then had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like wave 5 ending here. This wick not taken into account on some other chart. So then we have a 3, 4, 5. Wave 2, so they have a 1, 2, and this is the beginning of a bigger 3. You know, that's an even more bearish scenario, but I just have it on the chart. It's too early to go that way, right? It's not the highest probability scenario. Let's see. Ah, I see what I did here. So this one can be removed now. This was a scenario that we had on stream last time when we were streaming over here. We were looking then for a potential wave 4 and then a wave 5, then get a bounce for 2 and continuation down in 3. So in this scenario, we never really got too high of a retracement for 2, but it, you know, it could kinda, if we get continuation, played out. The first 15 or 1 hour candle closed above the daily over here, as you can see. But then this over here is your 5, finishing 1, expanding flat in 2. Your wave 4 retracement was the 382, as you can see. So we then have wave 3, ranging against the 382, taken from the high of 2 to the low of 3, range, range, range. And then we get eventually a nice move to the downside in 5, right? Nice, I can't really call it nice because it's not a great, you know, it's a bit of an expanding structure, which is very rare for a wave 5. But if this becomes a wave 3, that's the way to count it, no? And then wave 2 over here, which reached the 382 retracement, taken from the high to the low of 5. So from this high to the low of 5, it hit the 382, just missed out on the 0.5. 382 is a more rare target for a wave 2. And this is still something I'm going to keep my eye on. Reason being, this is a long range. So actually what I wrote, and I quickly just, I just want to have my words. What did I write here? I write this earlier today, and then I go into the chat and see what you guys are writing, right? So I said price now hit the target box. Remember the tag message as previously, first move to the white line. This move down can both be a wave B as well as a wave 3, observing the reaction. Yes, that's actually an important message. So in a previous video, when price was still early, ranging over here, we had, so this was on the chart, right? This was an idea. Let me actually open this in the browser so it's bigger for you, all of you. So we had this as a potential idea, price moving down, then moving up. The thing is, price first moved to the white line, which was a clear resistance. I had on my chart 26.4K, right? Area of resistance. Now that the reason, like, if price would move down first instead of going up, because it moved up first, but if price would have moved to the downside first, there was a higher probability, because we trade probability, there was a higher probability of a bounce. Reason being that this move to the downside could then be either a wave 5 or a wave B. And both a wave 5 and a wave B, you expect a bounce to the upside in either a wave C, or you get a correction in a wave 2, right? So this is then a finish wave 1, and then you get a wave 2. The fact that price moved to the upside first and actually hit the 382 taken from the high to the low now lowers the probabilities of a bounce. It's not gone. It's just a probability switch where if I go to the chart here, the fact price first move up, instead of going down here and reaching this area for them potentially a wave 5 or a wave B, it first moved up and now comes down. And the fact it comes down now, well, there's two probabilities here. It's now a wave 3 to the downside, so you expect continuation, or it is a wave B. So we went from a 5 and a B, which both create a bounce, to a 3 and a B, which means continuation or a bounce. So that's why probabilities shifted. It's not low probabilities, it's not high probabilities, it's now like 50-50 probabilities based on what we see more locally, of course. And I like the scenario for a bounce, honestly, which then I also mentioned, if I scroll down, also, I will check that measure based on the sideways weekend range. So throughout the weekend, we had very sideways price action, right? So based on the sideways weekend range, this scenario increased in probability, which basically is like getting a bounce. The scenario of getting a bit of a bounce increased in probability because the weekend range is so long compared to a very, very short wave 2, which is a bit out of sync, right? So that's why it's all probabilities. You know, it doesn't guarantee a bounce, it's just a probability. But this is most important, and I will always say this. Again, observe the reaction following your plan, and only do something if your entry criteria are met, because any long trades are against the trend. On the higher time frame, we're going down. At least on the macro, of course, we have a move to the upside from 15.4K, but more locally from 31K, we're going down, right? And if you go to the lower time frames, of course, we're like in a sideways range, but again, we're going down at the moment. So make sure you have a plan, you have a strategy, you have entry criteria. The weekend range is very long for wave 4. Never really got a nice wave 5. And if we get a wave 5, it's the expanding structure, which doesn't have the highest probabilities. It's something we consider if price continues dumping now, right? But it's not a nice wave 5. And then that's something I already explained earlier. If price bounces back up here to possibly 27.2K, so if price does get a bounce up, and I will at least show you the level that that for me kind of confirms if we get a move to the upside in a second. If price bounces back up, then I would personally be looking for 27.2K, and the higher time frame ending diagonal scenario will increase in probability if we move that high. So first we have to observe the reaction over here, really. Let's remove this. What's this? Oh, this is the triple and this bullish scenario. So this is a very, very important area. Now, about the level, right? If price bounces, how high should it go to increase probabilities that we get continuation to the upside? Now, if we zoom in, go to the 30-minute. If this is a finished first wave and a wave 2, so let me actually put this on the chart because, I can keep stuff in my head, but let's just do it like this, and then 3, 4, 5. And then inside this wave 3, right, we are looking again for 5 wave structures to the downside. So then we have over here wave 1, 2, likely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So then you want to see some sort of a wave 4, and eventually you want to see continuation. Because this is a high volume move, so at least you want to see a wave 4, then a wave 5, hit a daily naked point of control, and then a bounce. That would be the more bullish scenario. So at the moment, as it stands with the info we have on the stream here, remove the white line, go to the 15. If we're looking at this being a wave 1 and this being a wave 2, with this then being another 1, 2, there's not really any other great way of counting this, then we can take a fib from this high to this low. Take a fib from, oops, that was the wrong high. I'll correct that. Need to play more shooter games to get more accuracy here. And then we take the wave 4 fibs. It looks very messy actually. 1 second here. Let's remove a couple of stuff now. Remove a few things. There we go. Do this a little bit longer and turn it around to the right. There we are. Could even go lower. Now for a wave 4, you don't want to see price going above the 0.5, which is now positioned at 25.4K basically, right? 25.4. So if price can manage to get to 25.4K now first, before ranging here and get a move down. So if price does this, right, and reaches levels above the 0.5, we could be looking for continuation to the upside. If you want to be a bit more safe, to be honest, you take the pivot over here, the higher high, I suppose. And then the 0.5 is 25.450, right? So if candles start closing above this little high over here on the 5 minute, that's the moment where, hey, it could be interesting for a move to the upside. But in a bearish scenario, this is like a 1, 2, 1, 2. We're in a 3, 4, 5. You expect price to continue to the downside instead of getting a range and a bounce that high. So that would be a more safer option. Not to forget that if price goes that high, like if price is closing candles over here and wherever the low is going to be, oops. This is, by the way, of course, obviously no financial advice, as you all know, but that is still, some might argue, oh, that's a late entry, but then still a 1, 2, 3. So first get some confirmation, whatever you want to see in the chart, see a bit of a bounce, maybe CVD, stochastic, RSI, candlestick patterns, whatever it is. Maybe from an Elliott Wave perspective, you want price to go back over here. So you don't really want to see a 1, 2, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, right? Because yes, then this scenario is invalidated, because if you get a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, like an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then the correction to the upside is likely a wave 2 for continuation down. So then, of course, you'll get stopped. And that's why I said in this particular scenario, you don't really want to see a 4 and a 5. So you don't really want to see the lows taken. Of course, price can go lower. How can I explain this? It's a time thing. If this is your wave 2, you expect a wave 4 to be usually longer than wave 2. Wave 2, right? So you expect a bit of a longer range, this like week. Range, then a 4. Range for a 4, then a 5. And that's something you don't want to see. Right, so you prefer to see a bit of a quicker move up. You don't want to see a range, take the lows and up, because then it's likely this is a 4, then this is a 5. Move to the upside over here is then likely a wave 2 for then 1, 2, 1, 2 continuation down. So preferably we hit some levels of support, still got the daily naked point of control here. We get a bit of a reaction and we find some more continuation to the upside instead. More locally though, we again have an extended move. Again past 1.618, which gives wave 3 vibes, no? So yeah, probabilities aren't great for a move to the upside at the moment because of the volume, impulsivity to the downside. So the scenario I have on my chart right now might be the one that is the most, for me, the most probable actually. Also, if we look at the, let's see if we have the scenario here. Let me actually get the colors back. Wave 3 diagonal. Yeah, because if this is a wave A, if this is the high of your B and you're looking for a C to the downside, then the target for wave C is over here. It's in confluence with the target area for the wave 3 and then an A, B, C. If we get a bounce to the upside, then your wave C, if this is A over here, and then to the high, potential high, 27K-ish, right, for your wave B, because in a diagonal, you want to see a wave 3 three-wave structure, which then is an ABC. Your target is going to be much, much higher. So then we have wave C, yeah, your most common target for a wave C. Now, if price would do this, and move here, filling this inefficiency, then your most common target area for A, B, C is going to be over here, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's above this target box, it's above the target area for wave 3. That's not great. That's not great. So yeah, probabilities are looking higher for price to actually continue. Even though the local price action isn't that like great. With the wave 4 and the wave 5. We have a long wave 4, but it retraced to the 382, which is good. Your wave 5 here is an expanding structure. That isn't great. But, that happens. Your wave 2 retraced to the 382, and you get continuation. Again, an extended structure. So as long as there's no support, there's just nothing to gain here. So, okay, let's see what you guys have been writing here. 1 second, I'll scroll up here. let's have a quick look. So yeah, these are my thoughts, right? Probabilities at the moment are higher for continuation to the downside based on, you know, the targets for potentially a wave C in a diagonal scenario, but also this is an extended move. 2.618 has been hit, very rare for a wave C, and this also again is extended. So you know, 2 extended moves, 3 continuation down, question mark. As long as price is not showing any signs of support, there is no support, right? So we need to wait for entry requirements and all that good stuff. And price now hit the daily naked point of control that we have here as well. Let me actually see CVD. By the way, sorry for not checking the chat. Oh, we also had bearish CVD divergences here. Bearish CVD, lower high on price, higher high on the CVD. Also here, no? Let me check. Yep, also bear, so lower high on price, higher high on the CVD. So longs have been absorbed over here for then a push to the downside. And now price is just going. So let's see if we, you know, maybe let's see. It now hit the daily naked point of control. Let's see if we, you know, can spot anything, but honestly I don't really have the time. Like we're not going to be able to stream long enough to really get, you know, see a proper reaction. Of course, if price dumps, you know, that's great because we caught it during the live stream, but it's difficult. So for me personally, in my strategy of trading, if price hits an area of interest, it will take a couple of hours before my strategy even becomes relevant. So I don't do anything here. It's not part of my strategy. You know, I have a lot of patience. So yeah, well, let's see, and let's have a bit of a chat. First of all, how are you doing? How are you doing? You can write. Of course, now you can see I'm starting here. So my view, welcome, good to see you. Naked point of control 24 to 30, yeah, which is lower. I have more naked point of controls to the downside. But for me, my next one actually is 22,575. I, funny enough, don't have one at your area. That's quite interesting. 24,230. Is that in confluence with any of my stuff that I have here? Where are my targets? Oh, here. No, it's like in the middle of. For me, it's not really anywhere. What did I write? So, yeah, I would still like a bounce, but you know, I want to see proof of support. As long as we don't see proof of support, probabilities to the downside are going to be higher, because now we are in a, as mentioned earlier, a bit of a 50-50 scenario where this move to the downside can both be part of a wave 3 or it can be a wave B. And it all depends on the local reaction. If this is a wave 3 though, you really want to see continuation, you know, continuation to the downside. So if price starts to get bouncing here and ranging over here, the longer we range here or the higher the bounce, the higher the probability for a move up. So honestly, like, and that's what I wrote in the update here, in the update here as well. So you can just either pause. Oh wait, maybe you don't read or can't read everything. There you go, because of my webcam. But this was the latest move. I said the weekend range is very long for a wave 4, which was this, compared to a very, very short wave 2. So it's not great for the probabilities of a move to the downside. And that's why, of course, I might be confusing people now, but this is a very short wave 2. This is in comparison a long wave 4. Your wave 5 is an extended structure. You know, not great. And that's the stuff that increases probabilities for a bounce. What goes against that is that this is a very extended structure, hitting the 2.618, and this is an extended structure. Also now hitting, I think, the 2.618, or the 2, not yet the 2.618. Well, almost really. And that's a very, very rare wave C target. So that is why my head is You know, I want to see the reaction, and that's what I can recommend to everyone. There's no financial advice here, but you know, observe the reaction, have a plan and observe. Again, if price would have done this first before moving up, probabilities were much higher for a nice bounce. And now we're in 50-50 land based on the reaction, because price first moved up. High volume indeed. What is your proof of support? That is my strategy, my friend. And that is something that you know, like if you have developed your strategy, you know what you'll be looking for. So my strategy will be taught. You know, I'm working on that stuff, but more about that at the end of this month and early October, as then you know, then I put everything live. But I have 9 different. So I have 9. Are those confluences? I have 9 entry criteria before I enter a trade. Those 9 criteria are based on my experience, based on my data, based on my statistics, is what I say. I have improved my strategy over time, added some entry requirements, removed some, you know, based on my statistics again, because I do a lot with statistics. So, you know, my proof of support equals 9 different elements before I enter a trade. If I can check all the different, like all the 9, I will enter without hesitation. As long as all 9 are not hit, I won't enter the trade. So yeah, that's my way of trading. If you are a scalper, then maybe what you see locally is already enough to enter a trade, right? Depending on your personal strategy. But that's why every person is different. Some people cannot trade only 10 trades a month. Some people need 10 trades a day because, you know, they're all like the scalpers type of people. Some are swing traders. They trade once a month, maybe once a quarter. So yeah, this is different for everyone, but my proof of support is 9 different elements. So it's and everything is, I'm a very rule-based trader, so I have rules for everything. Floaty, what's up, mate? How you doing? Also, by the way, of course, my view, Captain Gary, Shauna Peterson. I'm not sure what you wrote there. Sorry, mate. QWERTY, it is a good question. It is a good question. Floaty, nice to hear your voice again. Looks refreshed. Yeah, I gotta be honest, it's quite cold. I have like chicken skin. What's that called? The goosebumps. I have goosebumps because actually it's cold in South Africa, even though the sun is shining behind me. It's been a very, very fresh day. Cold wind. If we break 23, by the way, yo, what's up, perse? Yo, I have that. Oh, I don't really remember anymore what you're referring to. If we break 23.5k, we go towards 17k. 13,800 the bottom. Ooh, 17k would be very deep, no? For, let's see, 23. Yeah, so for me, we have, so over here, I have an important support area between 21.8, 22.6, right? Which is then below your level. So this is an important area of interest. If price loses this area, I'm personally looking for 20k, which is interesting. And just below 20k, we also have this low over here at like 19.5, which, you know, just imagine the scenes and the emotion in the market if you take this low. Oh, market structure change, la-di-la-di-la. But then don't forget, taking this low or even going to 20k is still bullish. Because if this is a wave 1 or A, wave B or a wave 2, you know, where is my scenario? Here. It can go all the way down here into the 18k area, still be bullish because the 786 is still a common target for a wave 2 as well as for a wave B. But that's very low, right? We're here. We're not here to, you know, provide or talk about fear, and, you know, we are not making people fearful, but we're realistic, right? It's realistic. So yeah, I always have the target boxes, and for the ones that have been on my channel for a longer period of time, you know, like my target boxes are very important to me and create great like opportunities. So that's why, you know, area. It's very simple, right? Potential area of interest. It's all areas of interest, areas of support or areas of resistance. And then we of course wait and see what price is going to do. Let's jump back to the local time frame here. open the naked point of control, because I actually do want to have oh wait, there we go. I don't, which one is it? I do want to have it on my chart. There we go. You don't use the 38%? I do. Yeah, I do. But it's just, so I use it, but from a probability standpoint, depending on the scenario, the 382 is more or less probable for certain waves. So the 0.382 is a common target for like a retracement, like a normal Fibonacci retracement, right? So a normal Fib retracement, then the 382 is a common target for a wave X or a wave B, and a rare target for, or more less common, more rare target for a wave 2. Jacob, what's up? And also hi SK7. Nice to see you once more. Davey, how you doing, mate? I'm looking for an entry at the 1 to in a B, looking for a C. Yeah, so that is this scenario where you're looking for then this one? No, this one? Yes. Let me remove the brush here, right? Okay. So the invalidation really for a bounce is if price goes below the 1.618. In my opinion, going below this target box, of course we wicked over here, but once we start closing or going here, you know, probabilities really increase for a continuation. But for now, we're holding. This is the most common target area for a wave B and a wave X, between the 1.236 and the 1.38, which is an area we have hit. We get a bit of a nice reaction over here, right on top of the daily naked point of control. And the probabilities, as mentioned over here in the update section, they don't change. Yes, we got some volume to the downside, impulsivity, but the probabilities that I mentioned over here don't change unless, you know, we get continuation to the downside. And but first, again, and that I keep saying again, this is the most important, right? Observe the reaction, follow your plan, and only if your entry criteria are met does one consider entering. Now, I am on holiday, so you won't see me trading because I'm on holiday, and I have this very strict rule of not entering trades when I'm on holiday, because I don't want to have it in my mind when I'm sitting at, you know, on the beach and whatnot. I don't want to manage trades, or because I consider it part of my work. So, you know, when I'm here, I'm just doing the analysis, providing you guys with some insights whenever I can. And when I'm back, I'm going to go full in trading again. CVD is bearish locally. That was indeed correct. So that's a good observation, Mike. Good to see you here as well. Poof, can you move your face camera on the top so we can see the right of your price chart? Let me do this instead. A little bit smaller, so you can actually see the chart. There you go. There you go. There you go. When do you start your course? At the end of this month or early October? I need to make a few more videos, and then it's going to go live. And it's not really a course, right? It's teaching people, yeah, all my strategy stuff. I don't really want to go over it because, you know, it's not too relevant, but you know, how my strategy works, how to develop your own strategy, how I calculate my positions, my trading journal, everything will be downloadable and shared. If there are setups, you know, they will be posted here. We do some live trading, all that stuff. You know, it's going to be fun. Root Sphere Farms, what's up? How you doing? I love your avatar, by the way. It's, I don't know, it makes me think of Africa when I look at your picture. Every time I see your picture, and it's a very obvious picture as well. The yellow, it's very bright. Kenny, how you doing? How's my day? It's been good. It's been cold, as mentioned earlier. It's a cold day here, but we had a good day. With the grandma of my fiance is doing our ceremony because she is a priest officially. Now, we are not marrying for God, and you know, like we are both actually quite, like, how can I say this without offending people? Because I'm not offending anyone, but I am baptized when I was young, but we never grew up with the church. So we never, with my parents, it's not really in my side of the family, and neither hers, where we went to the church every Sunday. And so our wedding is therefore quite, let's say, neutral per se. But she's a priest, and she will bless us and those type of things. And she will do the ceremony, which is of course great. It's an honor for us as well that, you know, she's still alive and she can do the ceremony next year in March when we're going to marry. So we had a meeting with her to talk about, like, how's the ceremony going to be like. so that we have a better idea of what we can expect. And after that, we were at home, but we had load shedding, so I couldn't do anything. Then my alarm went off while load shedding just finished, which was nice, so I could do a live stream. But yeah, I had a good day. Good day. Thanks for asking, mate. Muaram Imam Choudhury, hello. When will you be back to your desk again? The 20th of September. However, when I'm back on the 20th, I immediately have to go. So I fly back on the night at like the 19th at night, Central European time. I land at like 11 a.m. in the morning. I go home to Gouda, and I come home. I quickly got a shower. I quickly got to have lunch, and I immediately have to go to an event in The Hague for the Navy, where I have to give a workshop in the afternoon. So there's no chill. I come back, bam, we start. For the ones that don't know, I'm also a global keynote speaker, so I do speaking stuff. So immediately I have a workshop for the Navy in the afternoon, and then on Friday, is that Thursday? Like basically the 21st, I think that's Thursday. I'm also at the Navy, not giving a lecture or a workshop, but I'm there the whole day as the dagvoorzitter. Then was that like the host of the event. So it's going to be busy, so I might not upload 3 videos a day, but I'll definitely do the one in the morning, and if I can, the one at night, because during the day I'll be at the event. On the Thursday, that is. Papa, but a flat is not possible in a ending. No. That is indeed not a possibility. You want all the waves to be zigzags. Now, a wave B can be a flat. So just to make sure we are understanding each other, right? Let me zoom out because this is important. This is the diagonal. So in a diagonal, ending diagonal, right? In a ending diagonal, each wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you want them to be a zigzag, right? But inside this wave 3, for example, we can have, right, we have an ABC. So an ABC, which is a 5, 3, 5, which is an impulse, any correction in B, impulse, which means that a wave B in an ABC, wave B can be a flat. It's just that wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 by itself cannot be a flat. It has to be a zigzag. But that doesn't mean that the subwave B of wave 3 cannot be a flat, right? So far, we get a pretty decent reaction here, no? Bit of a bounce, no continuation just yet. Man, sometimes I'm shaking here. That's how cold it is. Funny enough, in South Africa. Shoo. But yeah, still, of course, it's not. We're still bouncing here. No amazing reaction so far. Just one candle to the upside. So, and we're now finding resistance at the daily, as you can see on the 50-minute. So support on the daily, passing the daily, hitting daily naked point of control, resistance, currently still resistance there. Do we get a bit of a bounce? That is the question. We will observe. We will continue to observe. I prefer to stay on the 1 hour at the moment, though. Oh wait, the window is open. What the hell? That's why it gets so cold, man. I didn't see the window was open here. There was a curtain in front, but I felt the wind. Like I felt the wind. I was like, wait, what's happening here? It seems like a 3 within a 3 heading down. Yeah. So far, it looks impulsive, right? And as long as there's no support or clear proof of support, there's just no opportunity to the upside. And also, of course, we're trending down everywhere, right? We're in a downtrend on basically all time frames. So it's a trade against the trend. If we're looking for upside here, it could be interesting, but only if there's some proof of support, depending on your strategy. A bit of a bounce, market structure changes, divergences, whatever you're looking for. So, but the problem with the bounce is that this move down hit the 2.618, taken from the high to the low to the high. And also this move is very deep, also almost hitting the 2.618, which, yeah, it becomes difficult to count this as a nice 3-wave structure, because if this is a 3-wave move, then wave C is very, very long. Then you have a 3, This is a correction again, and then you have another 3, and this 3 is again has a very, very long leg here, which lowers the probabilities for a bounce. But in general, and I still feel wind, but why? Oh. There we go. Apparently there was another one open. Holy shit. So yeah, you might be right there. It's all about the reaction here locally, really. How to identify a sweep. How to identify a sweep? Well, I guess if you use order flow, it's a bit more clear. But swing failure patterns, like for me personally, if I look for swing failure patterns, I prefer to see double tops, double bottoms, or even triple or quadruple tops or bottoms. So you have a high, then price is ranging, then you create another high, continues ranging, and then you have high 1 and high 2. So you have double top, wicket, and then you want to see a strong move down. If you use order flow, then what you can look for is trapped longs in this case, because we're looking for a wick to the upside. So you might have the market buyers that are breakout buyers because you break these two highs. So you see breakout longs entering in your order flow, positions opening, but then price immediately reverses, and then you have trapped traders in the top, and you can trade the reversal to the downside. So that's for the order flow traders. I don't use order flow in my trading. I just kind of know how to use it, but I don't use it in my strategy, because if I do look for double tops or bottoms, I identify them based more like Elliott waves, really, because it's just experience. Around 19K is an interesting bullish fair value gap as well. Yeah, it's an interesting area for sure. Mark, how you doing, man? Good to see you in here. Welcome, welcome. Oh, wait, I skipped a whole lot, no? Wait. Okay, I was here. Christian, oh, Raymond, man, I literally skipped over your stuff. What is the scenario that would take the most time to complete in order to have like a time-based cap? Well, a diagonal. Yeah, a diagonal is the scenario that takes the most time because of all the wave Bs, and wave Bs can be quite extended as well, can take quite a while. But probably the diagonal is the yeah, it's the longest. It's difficult to, like, a wave 3 can take very long if it is very, very extended. But in this scenario for a wave C to the downside, if we're talking about a wave C, probably a diagonal is what takes the most time compared to a regular impulse. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Raymond. I completely skipped over your question there. Ludovico, good to see you. Well, good to see you as well, man. Are we entering a wave 4 now? Not yet. If we talk about the diagonal, price is still too high for a wave 4. And of course, locally, if we're looking at this being like impulsive to the downside, then over here was your wave 4 on a lower degree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correction. 1, 2, and then you want to see continuation to the downside. So you're then in a wave 3 to the downside now. Locally, which then is a wave C in a diagonal, A, B, and then you're looking for a C. But a wave C is, of course, an impulsive move. So that would be your bearish scenario, right? You'd be looking for continuation. Bullish scenario is that this is a 3-wave structure, correction, and another 3-wave structure. Or you have an A, B, C more locally. Yeah, then you have this as an A. Wow, we actually did not cover this scenario, funny enough, at the beginning. So then you have this as a wave A, 5-wave move. Then you have a wave B. So A, B, and then you have a wave C to the downside. What's the target? That's why it's nice to do live streams. We're currently in the target area between the 1 and the 1.236, right? The most common target area for a wave C, but preferably also for a wave C, you want to see a 4, then a 5, and then up, so that you have a 1, 2. This I don't consider this a 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks ridiculous, of course. So I prefer to then count it as a 1, 2, 1, 2. But that would be the most bearish, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, whatever. 3 can be very extended, and eventually you expect a 4, 5, 4, 5 to end the wave, basically. Only if price goes above basically 25.5K and starts to close candles here, That is like more of a Elliott Wave confirmation that probabilities are higher to move to the upside. Because if this is an impulse to the downside, right? If we're now impulsive to the downside, we don't, and this is part of a wave 3, then you still expect a 4 and at least another low in a wave 5. And we expect a longer range in 4 because over here we had a bit of a longer range, at least. And usually wave 4 is longer than a wave 2. This is then 2. So you expect wave 4 to be longer than a 5 to the downside. And because we are then looking for a 4, you don't want to see price going above the 0.5, which is, or at least close above the 0.5, I should say, which is currently sitting at 25.4K, but you can still wick over here and close below. But once you start closing candles here, or even go to the 618 at 25.5, that's when really a wave 4 is kind of like invalidated. So if price moves to the upside before creating a range here, and then a move down and then up, if price just moves up first, probabilities increase for continuation. So that is an Elliott Wave confirmation, right? Potential confirmation that would then increase probabilities to the upside, of course, depending on your strategy. If we are looking for a move to the upside, and if we get a bounce here or whatever you want to see, of course, one can enter a lot earlier. It's just at the moment, I mean, depending on your strategy, if all your entry requirements are already hit, perfect. But from an Elliott Wave point of view, there is not yet confirmation of this going to the upside. You know, it takes more time. But then if you don't use Elliott Waves in your confirmations, in your entry requirements, then, you know, then don't care. Whatever you see more locally, whatever you're looking for, you just follow your plan, no? Yes. Oh, mate, I saw rugby, Crypto Clodo. I saw rugby yesterday for the first time. I've never seen a rugby match. Of course, I saw it through television, right? But we were having dinner at friends of the mother of my fiance. And for the first time, I watched a full rugby match. And, you know, I asked many questions to understand how the game works. And it was great. I enjoyed watching rugby for the first time. Also with South Africans, you know, like it's just a different vibe watching with the nationals here, like the South Africans. So, but they played against Scotland, but they also won against the All Blacks. I don't know. I think the All Blacks, they lost now against, but I don't know if that's in the World Cup or earlier. So because I don't follow rugby, I don't know exactly what's happening. I just know that the All Blacks lost against South Africa and England or something. I think 2. I don't know. Almost forgot to smash the like. Damn, how's that possible? Thanks, Mark. Haka, I don't know. Haka, never did. I mean the top was part of a flat. Ah, yes. Sorry, SK7. Yes, that is possible. And then this is a wave C to the downside. So you have an ABC down. Absolutely, that is still a possibility. It can also be like WXY-ish, but this being an impulse to the downside, so an ABC makes... it can still be a WXY, also an ABC, but the thing we're looking for is just a 5-wave move. So I don't really like to focus on the bigger structure. So this. Because the result is the same. We're looking for an impulse or a diagonal to the downside. So it doesn't really matter anymore. Is this an ABC, WX, and then a Y? I've also seen people counting this as an ABC, which I think looks very weird because this wave C is so incredibly big compared to this A and B, which just doesn't add up to me. Doesn't look great. So, you know, this is either a wave C or, of course, it's an impulse and we go all the way to the bottom. So that's a scenario that we always have to keep in mind, and it depends on the support areas, right? And the reaction that we get there and the waves that are forming there locally, because the lower time frames make up the higher time frame count. So what happens more locally will decide what's happening on a higher time frame. So that's why we also observe on this channel, right? The 50-minute time frame and the 30 and the 1 hour. And we look what's happening locally to determine probabilities also for the higher time frame. But as long as these supports are not even hit, you know, it doesn't make sense to talk about what's happening here. So we have to wait and see, because on a high time frame, my alternative at the moment is this. Right? So we have a 5-wave move. However, look, the only way to go down over here and take 15.4K is if this is then a wave C. So this is your wave C, and this is, as you can see, it's an alternative in my alternative folder here, right? And this count is an alternative for different reasons, but I won't go into that at the moment. But then you have to count this as like an ABC structure. Very long extended for a C, going above all the targets for a wave C. Very long in time compared to A and B. So yeah, there's different reasons. And also the wave itself and the count itself, to count it as an alternative. But look, we're here, right? We're here. How are we even talking about 15 or below 15K, right? The higher probability scenario is still to look for a bounce and then continuation up. And that's that on the higher time frame. And we will observe the reaction at the support areas we have. And depending on that reaction, we'll see. But as it stands, this still is the higher probability scenario. Up, 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 and voila. Yep, there we go. You'll be Dr. Koenz with your Elliott Wave knowledge. Thanks, my view. Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can't get a doctor like diploma, but you can get a like. You can be a certified Elliott Wave analyst, which is called CEWA, C-E-W-A. You can Google it online. And that's just for people, if you want to get it, you can. I mean, honestly, it doesn't... Look, some people get a CEWA, so Certified Elliott Wave Analysis diploma. So you need to study, you need to do a test. And then if you pass the test, you become level 1, and then you can become level 2 or level 3 analyst. So it just can give you credibility of your Elliott Wave knowledge. But for me, my credibility is you. If you think, like, it's the viewers on the channel. So I know I make videos since February, and you can go through all the videos. And you can see how many scenarios have played out and how I'm adjusting my scenarios and, and give the probabilities all the time. And based on that, people will like the content or not. They will appreciate it, whatever it is. So basically, my credibility comes from, I suppose, my subscriber count going up or down, simply said. If my subscriber count is going down, I'm doing clearly something wrong, no? If my subscriber count goes up, then well, people are enjoying the content. So we're still, by the way, finding resistance around this daily, So we're literally now ranging between the daily naked point of control and the daily. And we have some, those played out. Bearish CVD divergences already played out here, because you can see on the 3-minute lower high on price, right? 3-minute candles. That's what I also use. Like, I like to use CVD, right? Lower high on price, but look at the much, or here at least higher high in yellow, but also much higher high here on blue. And the target is this low. Now that already played out, right? So lower high on price, higher high on the CVDs, target being this very, very small low in the middle between the two highs. It has been taken with this wick. But at the same time, it's not really what you want to see if we're looking for a move up, right? Because seeing bearish divergences locally means there is still long absorption going on. So yeah, and look for, like, if we talk bearish divergences over here, lower highs on price, higher highs here, lower highs, higher highs on both blue and yellow, lower high, higher high, not on blue actually, but on yellow alone here. Bearish CVD divergence, bearish CVD divergence. So we want to switch that, right? We want to see bullish stuff. Well, you might not use CVD yourself, by the way, as a viewer, but whatever you want to see, right? Rio de Janeiro is a very warm, sunny day. Should have gone to Rio de Janeiro. Spot do Cambio, welcome. Good to see you. Rio de Janeiro is still on my bucket list. Brazil in general, man, beautiful country, but yeah, it's It's a country I've never been to, but it's definitely on the bucket list. Actually, going to America, South and North America, is still on the list. So, I've been to North America, but more often and see more different areas, both South and North. I almost backpacked Bolivia and Peru in 2017, but instead I backpacked South Africa because it's the same time zone, and my medical masters were like, I was a medical student in the Netherlands, and my master's program was starting right when I came back after my holiday. So I prefer to stay in the same time zone. So I'm not like, hang over the first week because of the flights and the time zone changes. Do you think Elliott Waves is the best strategy? Well, that depends. Which, of course, that's not really the answer you might want to hear. The thing is it the best strategy for a directional bias, so a bias for upside or downside? I think it is probably one of the best if you master Elliott Waves. For trading, it just needs to fit your personality. So I have a separate, so I do Elliott Waves, and Elliott Waves for me are mainly directional bias. But my actual trading strategy is different. So I use Elliott Waves as a directional bias for my strategy, yes. So it's a bias for up or down, longs or shorts. But my entry strategy, like my actual trading strategy for entries, setting my stop loss and all that stuff, is different. And funny enough, I don't use Elliott Waves, or actually I kind of do, but I call it a bit different in my entry strategy, because I don't just trade, oh, this is an Elliott Wave area of interest, let me enter a position. I want to see more. And that's just because me as a person, I need a very, very rule-based, and of course Elliott Waves is very rule-based, but Elliott Waves at the same time can be a bit vague as well, and sometimes the risk to reward is just not really interesting from an Elliott Wave point of view, because the invalidations can be very, very long. So your stop loss is very long, but the targets, especially in corrective structures, might be quite short. So I wanted to have a more like a strategy that is that I can enter on lower time frames, where I'm looking for multiple confirmations. Of course, besides my directional bias from an Elliott Wave point of view, I want to see more than that. So, and that's just, it fits me better as a person to have extra criteria that then make me enter a trade for extra confirmation. That also means that sometimes I will miss certain Elliott Wave scenarios that I put on the chart, like, hey, higher probability here is going down or going up, and sometimes it plays out beautifully and I wasn't part of that move. But I don't have a problem with that, because I don't FOMO. We don't YOLO here on the channel, FOMO catch knives. I just want my strategy and all my entry requirements to be hit, which takes discipline. But I use Elliott Waves for directional bias, and what I love about Elliott Waves is that you can read price action like a book. And that's what I love so much. It's psychology. Elliott Waves is psychology. So do I think it's the best strategy? That depends. Strategy in directional bias, yes. Strategy in trading strategy, that's very personal. If Elliott Waves fits your way of trading and the rules and, like your entry requirement wise and everything, then it can be your best way of trading. But I have an additional set of criteria and rules and all that stuff for me to enter positions, which is my own personal strategy, which doesn't have a name. It's just my personal developed thing. Gabriel, bounce from 24.2k to 28k and then 16k. Range for wave 4. So how do you count this, Gabriel? I'm interested. Or by the way, Gabriel, are you in Discord? Because feel free to share a picture in Discord and tag me, because I'll be interested to see. Because 24.2k from 31 to 24 should then be probably a finished impulse. No, if you want to go back to 28.8. What are so? Oh wait. 24.2k, that would then be the end of your third wave, then 28.8k for wave 4, and then 60k in a wave 3. Oh, wait, you're already looking for downside here. Yeah, so that would be like an alternative scenario for me at the moment, where you expect price to move below 15K from where we are now, which of course, we're very, very far away. So we'll observe what price does. But this is at the moment my alternative. So it's something I have in mind, but not yet something I'm looking at too much. Latiniron Beats, sorry mate, your message. That can happen if there's links shared or scammers. Not saying, by the way, you're a scammer, just saying. But the reason why links are not allowed in the chat is because in many live streams, like you have those scammers that are posting all these links and stuff. So that's why it's off. So no links can be shared. Will's Fiji game was a great game for a neutral. Yeah, I guess like the only games I watch, at least here, is South Africa, because I'm in South Africa. I've never ever actually watched another rugby game. What do you think of this ending around 23K, then a retracement to the top, take the highs, then dropping to around 19K? That is possible, but then we are looking for a very long range between basically 20 and 30K, right? Because that is then more like this scenario where you expect to actually in a recent live stream, I did also go over macro and high time frame, but then you're expecting more like a WXY sideways corrective structure type of move, right? But that is too early to call. We're only here. So first you have to wait and see if you get a reaction here. If you get a reaction and a move up, then you don't want to see an impulse to the upside, right? You want to see corrective structures to the upside for then again a move to the downside. So as long as you don't have a bounce here, as long as we don't have the move to the upside, which we have to wait and see what this is going to be. Does it have more characteristics and elements of a wave 3 or a wave C? That's something we have to observe, and then based on that move to the upside and how it acts with the resistances we have, we can determine probabilities for down again or continuation up. So yes, it is a scenario that I have considered in previous streams and videos as well, where we have a longer sideways range, but we need a lot more information. So that's why it's currently in the back of my mind and not in the front. I'm first looking for, if price comes down here, let's first see how it reacts more locally. But you are correct, which is nice to see, that is a scenario in our minds, right? Buddy Poppins. So yeah, it is definitely a good scenario and one to keep in mind. Douwe, still bearish divergence, CVD on the 5-minute. Yeah. Yeah, but this is now a second CVD, this one here. Wait, you probably wrote that. You wrote that message a while back, so I think we agreed on the bearish CVD, which I shown on stream just now. I watched for a wave 5 in the ending diagonal and overall the flat structure in the ABC. I watched for a wave 5 in the ending diagonal in the overall flat. So in wave C, you are now looking for a wave 5 in an ending diagonal. Of course, during live streams, most commonly, like most of the times when you write certain scenarios, I can, picture them in my head immediately. Sometimes it's a bit of a struggle. So I think what you mean is that your diagonal is probably this. Wave 5 in a diagonal for wave C. Also, okay, she said, or he, I mean, I don't know, of course. But yes, okay, so this is your scenario. I just quickly checked on my phone as well to see your reaction based on what I'm drawing here. Okay. So let's pull some stuff. Okay, so this is a scenario from Hasta la Vista Barbie, right? Now, first things first. Okay, no, wait. Let me first put some stuff on the chart, and maybe you can follow it. Oh, not yet. And then, maybe you know what I'm doing now. Actually, want to have this low, and then let me explain. Let me actually clean this up just a little here. And then we have this as a wave 3. Okay, so probably. Okay, so chat. What's going on here? By the way, hasta la vista, Barbie. I like the fact you have and you think about a ending diagonal scenario, because for you this is a ending diagonal, like you said, like wave 5 in an ending diagonal scenario for an ABC. So you're thinking about a diagonal. Okay, chat, what's up? Chat, show us what's up here. What's tell me, like, of course, what's going on? What I put the measurements on my chart. I have a key level here. Why do I have the key level? Can you provide feedback on the scenario of hasta la vista, Barbie? Can you provide feedback? Do you see anything that's right? Do you see anything that's wrong? Do you see anything you like to change? Would you agree with the scenario? Would you disagree with the scenario? Can we do polls here? I think we can. I've never done it though. But before I go through the other messages, I just want to see what people are writing. SK7. And thanks, Asalefi Barbie. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. No problem putting it on my chart. But it's a good lesson for everyone that looks for diagonals. So SK7 has a good point there. But there's more. Check wave 3. What's up with wave 3 in a diagonal, right? If we think about a diagonal. If we think about diagonals in general, which diagonal is the most common diagonal? I actually have to blow my nose. So think about this scenario. Indeed, the overlap is what's missing. And Sander, you are correct. So Sander, if we look at a contracting diagonal, which is indeed most common, then what's the target for a wave 3 and what's the invalidation? Oh, okay, I blew my nose. I am cooking. Nice. What are you making? Yes, wave 3 is too long. And apparently you mean that wave 5 is a potential diagonal. Okay, so that changes the scenario. I see. However, okay, so hasta la vista, Barbie, you mean something else, which I'll put on my chart. So this is just a scenario I thought you meant. But it's nonetheless a good practice for chat as well, right? So SK7, you're right. And also Muharram Imam Chowdhury, you're right as well. Sander, you're also right. So in a diagonal, what you want to see, first of all, in a diagonal, you want to see volume moving down. Look at this peak here, right? So that's one sign. But that's like actually not something I necessarily wanted to talk about, but it's good. Like in a contracting diagonal, you want to see like volume moving to the downside. Anyway, you have no overlap between wave 1 and wave 4, which is not what you want to see. In a contracting diagonal, both leading and ending diagonals, by the way, you by far most commonly want to see overlap between 1 and 4. And in some books, you'll see it is a rule. It's like a set rule, like overlap between 1 and 4. But there's sometimes a bit of discussion. But in general, incredible high probability you have overlap between 1 and 4. So that's what you want to see, really. Wave 3, invalidation is the 1-to-1, because then 3 is longer than wave 1. And in a contracting diagonal, this over here would invalidate a contracting diagonal that counts like this, right? So that is the biggest thing. Now, hasta la vista Barbie just now mentioned that he or she is looking for an ending diagonal in 5. so the last wave. So that means we are now counting this as then like a 1, eventually you have a 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then this is a diagonal. Now it's a bit early to call this a diagonal over here. 1 second, because I see someone popping in. Okay. Everyone, I got max 10 minutes, which means 7 minutes because I have to pack my stuff and get out of here because we are going to a restaurant and I didn't see the time. Oh man, I love streaming. Thank you all for being here as well and engaging. Anyway, is my mic on again? Yes, it is. So this scenario, we want to see zigzags everywhere, right? Because an ending diagonal should be a zigzag, like zigzag, 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 zigzag. That's what we're then looking for, right? Now this over here, you have to count a 3-wave structure in this wave 1, or hasta la vista Barbie, you might count it like this, where your wave 1 is not yet in. Right, so then this is all going to extend to the right. Because my problem with this being a zigzag is it looks very much like an impulse, right? So I won't really look at this as a zigzag. So then you could be thinking A, B, C in a 1, then you have a 2, A, B, C in 3, 4, and then a 5, right? This is still a scenario that could be an option, absolutely. This is still a potential valid scenario. So the higher time frame is then 1, 2, 3, 4, ending diagonal in a 5. The main reason I don't show this scenario is because we don't have the info. It's too little info. So it's way too early to call at the moment. But it's a good idea. I like the idea. And also so preferably your wave 2, by the way, wait, we don't just have a finished wave 1 here. So first of all, we want to see a wave 1 ending here somewhere then. And then you have a big wave 2. It becomes quite a big diagonal, got to be honest, for the wave 5, both in time and price. It is an option, but not the preferred one for now. But it is definitely something we keep in mind, and it depends on what happens locally, because then, yeah. A, B, you want to see a C down. Look at the reaction, by the way. We're getting some price action, yo. Pump it. Anyway, yeah, I like it. I like the scenario, and let's see what price does, because it's still early to call, right? It's very, very early days for this scenario because your wave 1 is not even finished yet, right? So we first have to wait if price gets continuation in a C and see the reaction, and then we can check for a wave 2, right? Or we still have this going on, right? A, B, C, but then it gets so long in time that the probabilities are decreasing for this diagonal and the probabilities increase for the higher time frame diagonal, because then it becomes a time thing. Hey, everyone, you know what I said, eh? We know the Elliott Wave invalidation for impulsive moves to the downside, as long as that's not hit though. Okay, let me quickly go through chat because I don't want to leave people hanging here, and then I gotta move. So I gotta go quick here. Lucky TT, new subscriber here. Welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for subscribing. I think, by the way, we almost reached now. Let me quickly have a look here. How many subs do we have now? I think we almost reached 3,900. We are at 3,896. 4 more, 3,900. Holy moly. Almost there. Pretty incredible since February. Thanks all for the support, man. You guys actually have no idea how much it means to me. It's difficult to communicate it through a webcam and everything, but yeah, it's pretty insane how everything came to be like this. But yeah, started with no expectations, and here we are. This is a key level 25.5. So this is key. From an Elliott Wave point of view, this can still very much be part of a range wave 4, then a 5, then you get a wave 2 and a move down. So for people that just joined, by the way, Elliott Wave wise, for the more bearish scenario, this is then like a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you have continuation to the downside. So you want to see a wave 4, 5, and then if price retraces, probabilities are higher for continuation down. But if you don't get a bit of a bigger sideways range, and instead price moves up and hits this level, it starts to invalidate a wave 4, which increases probabilities for then continuation. Of course, price can then first fill this inefficiency, reach the order block, reject, find support, and then continue up, right? Doesn't have to go in a straight line. It just is a probabilities game. So if price goes to this level first, before ranging locally here, and then move down to take this low once again, that's when probabilities are higher for continuation. And then 27.2K is very interesting, or 27K really. But yeah, we are still down here at 25.1. So, you know, we're talking about levels we're not even close to. In 50 minutes, we are in a wave 4 going for a wave 5. Yeah, so then this is a 4, then you want to see a 5. And potentially you have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, right? That would be the bearish scenarios. Then we're looking at impulses. It can still be an ABC. No, that's the bullish scenario, as mentioned earlier in the stream. So then we have this, right? Ta-da. So then you have A, B, very short B, and then you have a wave C to the downside, and then you want to see continuation. So this whole area is still an area of interest for a bounce, even if we take the low. So observe the reaction locally. Right, and hopefully I'll be live quite soon again to, you know, after we get some more info and see what happens. But as shared over here, as shown multiple times now, probabilities for me are still solid for a move up as long as we get proof of support, because it's a 50-50 zone. Because price here first moved to the upside, as explained earlier in the stream. Because we got this move up first, this move down can both be part of a wave 3, like, you know, going through lower prices, or this is a B or X for a move up. But it depends on the reaction. If this is a wave 3 though, you really want to see continuation down, right? It should be strong, just like you had over here. If this is like a move like this, right, you want to see a strong move down. And at the moment, it lacks a bit of strength. Because this is then a 1, 2, and this is a 3, right? So you really want to see price continuing to the downside. That's what you're looking for. And especially in a wave C-ish scenario where you're looking for this wave 3 in a zigzag, A, B, and then a C, you know, you want to get here. This is your most common area for 3, and also this is the next support area. And we're still far away. So preferably you have you lose this support, start closing candles here. That would not be great, right? If you start to lose candles here, move down. At the moment, we're still inside the target box. Okay, quickly look at chat. Chat. New Zealand, All Blacks. Yeah, the haka. I know, right? I've seen movies about that one. Hey, bro, what do you think about Bitcoin? Short or long? No financial advice on this stream. You have your own plan, own strategy based on data and experience. Gabriel Chalaru, wave 1 from 31.24. Okay, I see what you do. Okay, yeah, that is indeed that is my second alternative because this is the by far most bearish, because that means that your move from 15K to 31K is a wave C. The question is, how did you count it as a solid wave C? Well, probably in an ABC expanding flat. But wave C is very long and goes above the most common wave C target for an expanding flat, which gives me that's the reason why it's a second alternative. How do I get in your Discord? Link is in the description. If you have an account that is younger than 3 days, you will get banned, but then I will unban you personally, because every day I check the banned list. because it's against scammers. Many scammers tend to make brand new accounts, enter the group, post their shit, and then I have to ban them. So just to avoid getting too much of those like figures in the group, I have a minimum 3-day account age in Discord. We can't keep them all out, but at least it does part of the job. 13% move up, same as nice confluence with 28.2k. Yeah, would be a nice move, eh? Would be a nice move. And it's good that you if you were there in 17 or 19, you have that experience, which can definitely help. $10 bet on above. It's the probabilities are good, but you want to see local support. So because the thing is, this range, this is such a long wave 4 for a very short wave 2, and this wave 5, if we're looking at an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then this wave 5 is an expanding structure, which is very rare. But then again, rare does not mean impossible. It's just less common. That is why also I always want to see proof of support or resistance, really. Thanks from India. My pleasure. Inner Oru Tagaval. What's up? Good to see you again. And then next target 28k. That's too high for me. If we get a bounce here, then probabilities are higher to go to 27k and reject there. But we have to wait the reaction. Nothing wrong with her. Definitely nothing wrong with her. I mean, she's my fiance for a reason, Good morning, Joe Louise. What's up? You still think a wave to 27k is possible? Yes, but depending on the reaction, because at the moment it doesn't look great. This is very extended. This is very extended. But if we're in a wave 3, wave 3 over wave C, you want to see continuation. So the reaction locally is very important, and as long as we don't lose this support area, we can look for proof of support. But yeah, we have to look for that. Okay, everyone. And hit like because Koen doesn't ask. That's true. Yes, still on vacation till the 20th of September. Everyone, I gotta move out. I gotta go. We gotta go for dinner. So I'd like to thank you for watching. I have to head out, else I'm gonna get problems here. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you attending the stream, and I'm pressing all sorts of buttons instead of the right buttons. Let me go to this. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys being here during the live stream. I gotta go. Dinner is coming, and hopefully we go live soon again to see what actually happens. Make sure you trade safe. We are at support, but we come down aggressively, so you want to see some proof of support, right? See what happens. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next time. Bye-bye.